Hey there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 2300 of What You Up To Now, documenting my journey, sharing the good, the bad, the ugly, what works, what doesn't work, or what has worked and hasn't worked for me. Not what does and doesn't work, what has and hasn't worked for me based on my application and based on my experience with it. Uh, I would contend that every strategy, everything that we do works for somebody or they wouldn't be doing it. But it doesn't mean that someone else's strategy and the way they've implemented will work for us because we're all unique individuals and we need to figure things out and implement them in a way that's consistent with our goals, our values, etc. So I create a couple of pieces of content every day. The first is an annual challenge. 7 years now, going on 7 years that I've been doing an annual challenge online. And this year's annual challenge is the Let's Grow annual challenge. We're doing one thing every day to grow. We're taking one little action step every day to grow in a particular area. And each month we're focusing on a different area of a life framework that I've used since 2021. I've used this particular life framework. Prior to that, I used 7 parts of the 9-part framework. So they've been the same since the late 1970s, early 80s, when I learned them from Tony Robbins and Jim Rohn. Both of them have been mentors of mine throughout my lifetime at different periods of time. Not Jim Rohn anymore because he's no longer with us, but Tony Robbins, of course. So today we are talking about mental growth. This month, the whole month of May, we're focusing on mental growth. How can we grow mentally in order to positively impact our life, right? Because we don't want to do stuff that negatively impacts our life. We want to make our life better, better, and better. That's what growth implies, at least to me. So today we're talking about memory, different types of memory, and then memories. Because to me, our memories are different than our memory. Our memory has 3 stages. You've got, your sensory memory, which is all of the information that our senses gather all the time. It only lasts like a few seconds. Then there's short-term memory, which lasts 20 to 30 seconds. I got to remember a phone number. I have to remember a password. I have to remember the gate code, whatever it might be. And that's just a few seconds. And then, or 20 to 30 seconds. And then long-term memory. And of course, there is declarative long-term memory, and then there's non-declarative long-term memory, very easy to remember, or intuitive long-term memory. And I think it's intuitive. It is implicit. Implicit? Yeah. Meaning it's things like we acquire a skill, riding a bike, driving a car, baking something, a favorite recipe or something that we've done it so many times. It's just inherent in our being. I say that about the soul framework because I've installed it in my subconscious. So the things that we do routinely and habitually, those are more implicit, right? Skills that we have and things that we just automatically do or are inherent and part of us. Declarative means it's a memory that we can recall and pull up and communicate to other people. I can say, okay, this is what happened when I broke my leg. I've never broken my leg, so that's not a great example. This is what happened when I had a sudden cardiac arrest. It's something I can talk about and communicate to other people on the lessons I learned from it. That's declarative memory. That's a memory that is in our long-term memory. And long-term memory can last anywhere from minutes to an entire lifetime. We all have memories from decades ago, depending on how old we are, that we can remember and communicate. That's declarative memory, or declarative long-term memory. And non-declarative is, again, the automatic stuff, the stuff that gets put in there. That the skills are that any kind of a skill that we have is an implicit long-term memory because we can call upon it when necessary. So if you have a problem-solving skill or ability and you've used it, you can call upon that when you need it and use it because it's just part of your being now. I kind of guess that's kind of where our identity lies. For Supersize Your Business, we talked about membership sites today, which is actually one of my favorite strategies because so many different businesses across so many different industries can use this strategy to serve their people better, to build their brand, to create an additional stream of income, to bring people into their business at an entry level and then ascend them through their organization. So we talked about that in pretty much detail, gave some examples of membership sites I've never really heard of that I researched and I'm going to look into probably over the next few months. I'm not going to do it today. I've got a lot of other commitments, but they're business and technology related ones that I was not aware of. But guess what? I'm not aware of most membership sites out there because there are literally probably 1 million of them. I know I've helped to create or created over 100 for sure, different membership sites for businesses as well as for myself. All right, that's all I've got today. If I can help you anyway, hit me up and ask. Otherwise, have an absolutely fantastic day, and I will, of course, be with you tomorrow. Bye.